Those are the only two questions that need to be considered in this general election. You have another entity out there saying give them a chance. I'll speak to that also. Those who've had the opportunity to run this place have had a massive majority every time they got elected. Do you understand that, Bahamians? No excuses. There was no slim majority except at the very beginning, 67 to 68, from 68 to 92, and from 92 right on up to now. Those who were given the authority to run this place have had tremendous latitude by the electorate of this country. Many seats. This one got 32. The one before them was 35. Does the electorate understand what they have been doing? Yes or no? We have to respect the decisions of the electorate, and I'm not knocking them for the decisions that they made, but I'm trying to figure out, do they know what they're doing? There is so much that is missing. Just look at the record, 35-4, 32-7, just those last two. That tells you a lot about the electorate of this country, Bahamians. What is it do they want? That is the question that needs to be asked. What are you looking for, electorate? I want you to tell me today on this show, what is it that you are looking for? That means if you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to be lost. What you have seen is a deterioration in this country. Problem after problem after problem at the constituency level and at the national level. And that's why I asked those two major questions. Those are the two questions that should be up front on the table, Bahamians. But you're talking all kind of other funny things. You like this one, that one got on one nice shirt, that one got on one nice dress. Give me a break, Bahamians. What I have seen so far, people moving around for their own selfish purposes, I do not see anything for the consideration of the constituents in those particular constituencies. Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. That's the way it is today, Bahamians. The only people who are getting left out of everything are the constituents themselves. You as the constituents in a given constituency do not seem to understand the importance of your part in the parliamentary process of this country. You don't understand that. You've been allowing certain personalities to send a particular personality to you in your particular constituency and tell you, vote for that person. That's utter nonsense and foolishness. You've done it for more than 52 years. And yet you grumble and complain all the time. Why? You went to this group, you get bad results. You went that group, you get bad results. What the heck are you looking for? Baby, you got to make up your mind. What is it that you expect from the government of the Bahamas? I know what I expect. What is it that you expect from the particular personality sitting in a parliamentary seat? Because there's no parliamentary representation. I can tell you that right off the top. There's none. In 52 years, there has been none. Just party personalities sitting in parliamentary seats while you in that particular constituency suffer. I challenge anyone to tell me it ain't so, because I'll call your constituency out today. All we have are people looking out for themselves at the expense of the Bahamian people. And you, as the electorate, let it happen for 52 years plus. You have done nothing about it. But yet you're the one complaining. And the power is right in your hand. Always was there for 52 years plus. And you did nothing with it but complain. It doesn't make any sense 52 years plus giving a political party a massive landslide of seats in an election. That makes no sense at all. Yet you have done it repeatedly over and over and over and over again. What is it do you want, electorates? Well, the Constitution says you electors. Let me get it right. What is it do you want, electors? Come on. I'm not the only one who is looking at this. Others are looking at it, even some of those who were in power. Even a former prime minister. Say how lopsided the system is. But you ain't listen to that. But that particular personality has benefited. You ain't benefit. They even come out and tell you that. And yet you still are not thinking, Bahamians. That bothers me. So I'm going to go out of my way to help you to understand from two sources, the Holy Bible and the Constitution. That's all I waken with. I don't need to look at any piece of literature that they put out there. Those who've had the opportunity to govern this place, they put out all kinds of things. They put out candidates who were rejected, they put them back into another, put in the slate to run again. Both parties have done that. Now you have one particular party that's talking about what's happening on Facebook and TikTok and this and that and the next thing, and how their particular candidates are going to be smeared by the other opposing party and telling Bahamians to watch out. One party has been knocking around for 70 years. Bahamians, you all don't even think about these things, 70 consecutive years, that particular party has had seats in the Senate and in the House of Assembly uninterrupted. You don't even think about those things. So what were you doing for the 70 years? Just fattening frog for snake? Is that what you were doing? Come on, Bahamians. Many of you didn't even understand that that particular party has been knocking around in the House of Assembly and the Senate 70 years next year. The other one is over 50, all the way back 71, 72. The history of that one is a little different. But the point is they've had decades in the House of Assembly and in the Senate. Bahamians, you got to wake up, man. But they keep coming back to you, this, that, and the next thing. And I ask two basic questions. Let's deal with the one that had 70 years. I say right here and now, and I said before on another show, every single constituency problem, every single national problem should have been solved in that 70-year span. How much more time you want to give the Bahamians? How much more time? They're still talking about fixing roads, man. What kind of crap is that? They haven't done nothing with crime. People are still killing in this country 70 years later. Well, we just had it last night. Come on, Bahamians. And these are young people who are dying. 126 in the early 20s, according to reports. Then, of course, one of the senior officers under the commissioner, I couldn't quite remember what her name is. I think Mr. Bluser might have that tape. I want him to play that today. Mr. Bluser, you could look for that. And a couple of other tapes I want you to look at. The point is, Bahamians, 70 years they have been there. And yet we still have crime in this country 70 years later. Come on, Bahamians. What are we doing? Why are you sending people to the House of Assembly and the Senate? For what? You gave them 70 years. We still have crime. 70 years later, we still have unemployment in this country. Come on, Bahamians, what are we supposed to be doing? 70 years later, we still got labor unrest. 70 years later, we still have people dying in accidents, people knocking one down the road and running off and doing foolishness. 70 years later, we still have bank robberies. And I could go down the list, Bahamians. What major constituency problems have been solved by that particular organization over the last 70 years? In the constituencies, Bahamians. Look how broke up and messed up they are 70 years later. You satisfied with that piece of crap? You call that good representation? Ain't no representation there, Bahamians. People, the elderly, 70 years later, we still got problems with the elderly. Tell me about abuse on children. 70 years later, we still got abuse on children. Even more so now today than ever before. So what has happened? But you gave them all the opportunity, time after time after time, passing all kinds of laws in the House of Assembly. Send it to the Senate, the Senate just stamp it, rubber stamp it, and bing, it's law. But the problems are still there, Bahamians. Deal with the harsh reality that you are faced with. And some of you on your job, one former prime minister decide you work there 35 years, you can't get 35 years worth of benefits, you get 12 years. And you let them pass that in the House of Assembly, say they make it law. Give me a break, man. You don't even wake up. We got the Immovable Property Act, where foreigners are buying up our land. And no one has enough sense to say, stop this foolishness. We're losing too much land. Let's keep the land for Bahamians. They could do it right in the House today, but it hasn't been done. They have the numbers. It hasn't been done. That particular party or entity has no excuse whatsoever, because all you did was give them plenty time, plenty opportunities. They made a lot of money for themselves. Billions of dollars have been spent, maybe tens of billions of dollars have been spent over that 70-year span. And look at our condition today. Didn't the man tell you, wipe every tear from every eye? That's what the man told me. That's what they were supposed to be working toward. And some other things they're supposed to be working toward. When we can get to wipe every tear from every eye. Do you know what one former Attorney General said after they were in for 25 years and 9 months? Those who didn't get help in the first 25 years and 9 months will get help in the second 25 years. You know, we had another 25 years. Since that first 25 plus 25 is 50. We done past the 50. So what has happened? We still have problems worse than it was back in 1992. You've seen a deterioration, Bahamians. So what is the purpose of you sending people to the House of Assembly, putting them in the Senate, putting them in the cabinet, and all you got is piles and piles of problems? Tell you people still committing murder. The police talk about the initiatives they're doing. And even the police commissioner said, was it the commissioner? I think it's the commissioner who said, find another way to solve your issues. You got to help these people to find a way to deal with these social problems that confront them. People are way down. Even the man in Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama, how you all let that man try to kill himself? I mean, people in Grand Bahama just kill one to commit suicide down there. How come you all didn't tell me about that? And I got to understand about the teacher who was, well, the principal who was clobbered in the head. We don't know the injuries that she may have suffered. Psychological abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. Come on, Bahamians. I thought it was safe down there. The man won't string upon one tree. How we get like that? Grand Bahama people get like that. I used to hear them do them kind of things in New Providence, but it looked like it spread to Grand Bahama. Then it spread to the Family Islands. Fellas on the golf course in Harbor Island, one shot to death. I think the other one might have been injured. Bahamians, you have given a particular political organization 70 consecutive years in the House of Assembly, in the Senate. That's the legislative branch of government. Plus plenty of them, well, not all of them, but some of them from that particular political organization were in the cabinet at times when they became the government of the Bahamas. Now, see, there's a difference between the party and the government of the Bahamas. And plenty of you don't even understand that. There's a difference between party representative and parliamentary representative. You don't even understand that. Because you think the party and the government is one and the same. When everyone who lives in that particular constituency are not members of that particular political party, but that particular personality was elected to do what? I mean, you don't even know what the purpose of a representative. I mean, how we get like this? I had them talking about that chicken feed money they just give them. So that's to help them in their constituency. That's chicken feed money, Bahamians. How could we sell ourselves so cheap, man? The major problems in those constituencies will require much more than that. People still complaining about water. People still complaining about light. Basic essentials of life. Come on, Bahamians. You mean 70 years later? That shouldn't even be a problem. All these potholes in the roads. Do you know the Constitution says no man, woman, or child shall ever be frustrated by what? Deprivation, being deprived of good roads, being deprived of electricity, being deprived of protection from criminals. That's unconstitutional, Bahamians. 1 second of deprivation is 1 second too much. And it's been happening from July the 10th, 1973. And you sit right in and allow this crap to go on. And yet the fellas are saying how good they're governing. You haven't called them out. So they think it's no problem. 2 of them get killed. There's no problem to that. Since it wasn't them. Is that how we look at life? Every human life is very important. And I'm sorry to hear about the family that where this lady was killed. Said she was sitting on her porch. 10 o'clock in the night. You know, it's hot. People don't have no fan. They ain't got no air condition. So you can't even sit on your porch in the night now. Come on, Bahamians. What is this? The police is supposed to do what? What is the purpose of the Royal Bahamas Police Force? Have any of you thought about that? Maybe the purpose has changed. I understood someone was telling me there was a different purpose in those early years, to suppress black people. That's what the police force was used, to suppress black people when the white minority was running things. Is that what the police are supposed to be doing today, suppress black people? Is that what it's all about? Because here this woman and another woman and a teenager, I think it's a teenager they said, woman died, and the teenager and the other woman went to the hospital. I don't know where it is, put them, you know. How many people could go in that Princess Margaret Hospital? But every time you keep hearing admitted to the Princess Margaret Hospital, they must be got unlimited space then. And I've always lived in the shadow of the hospital. I don't ever be no patient there. Not even Doctor's Hospital, which is just across the road from the Princess Margaret Hospital. We have to do something about these problems. But you keep electing people who can't solve no problems. When I ask you what major constituency problems have been solved in your particular constituency over the last 70 years, and here are the clear-cut benefits that come to you as constituents in that particular constituency, you can't even answer the question. So why the heck are you in that particular constituency and you don't know what's going on? Give me a break, Bahamians. You should have enough sense to know what's going on in your particular constituency. Or are you so blind and so close-minded and so numb, even when someone is shot right next door to you, you don't even feel it? That's what it's become. This woman was sitting on a porch. You mean to tell me you can't sit on the porch now, 10 o'clock in the night? What's going on in this place, Bahamians? What is the purpose of the Royal Bahamas Police Force? I had a commissioner say they're supposed to be protecting. I know how much protection they just give me because I didn't tell them Central Police Station is weightless. Okay? Central Police Station is a weightless police station. The officers there are worthless. Everyone there who works there is weightless. They do not help the people of Fort Fincastle. They're right in their doorstep. You'll find it maybe in Lightfoot Key before they come in Fort Fincastle. Because you call them, they never come. They're always busy. Well, only one day, no car there, all kind of crap they keep talking. That is a weightless police station, Central Police Station. The commissioner needs to fix that. And I will tell her that when I get to see her. Or some of you like talk, go and tell the commissioner, fix up Central Police Station. That is a weightless police station from top to bottom. They never help the people of Fort Fincastle. But they'll find themselves in Lightfoot Key, though. They'll find themselves in Old Fort Bay. They'll find themselves maybe in Blair. And every time they come out of police headquarters, they go other places. They never come to Fort Fincastle. When they had the new commissioner being sworn in, all kind of invitees were there. Fort Fincastle was not invited. Do you understand how serious this is? Are we supposed to take the police seriously? Are we supposed to take the commissioner's words seriously? All those little girls in Fort Fincastle would have liked to be there to see the first woman sworn in as commissioner of police. They were denied it. Do you hear what I tell you? I mean, let's cross the road from them. But they could find people in Lightfoot Key to invite. They could find people in Grand Bahama to invite. They could find people all over the nation to invite. Fort Fincastle was not invited. Now you think about these things because that's the way they behave. When they have something on Bay Street, they want to block the three entrances into Fort Wayne Castle. Tell us that we got to wait. Wait what? We got our homes to take care of. We got our business to take care of. They don't do that to the people in Lightfoot Key. They don't do it to Old Fort Bay. They don't do it to people in Blair. What the heck I am to do with what you have to do on Bay Street? That's nothing to do with me. They blocked the three entrances coming into Fort Wayne Castle. This is the kind of crap they've been playing for years, Bahamians. Inconveniencing the good people of Fort Wayne Castle. They got good people in Fort Wayne Castle because I live there. Okay? I know them people very well. Now you got some strangers, foreigners, aliens, and outsiders. You need to kick them out. They don't belong there. They do not belong in Fort Wayne Castle. Where's immigration? Where's the police? Who's supposed to be protecting us? I tell you, we don't get no protection from there. None. I am going to tell you right now, Bahamians, you've got to get serious about the issues that confront us while the country is dropping, and you keep complaining, when you have the power in your hand to stop it. You could stop a government who ain't checking. You could stop the police force who ain't checking. You didn't know that, eh? You think they're law unto themselves. Give me a break, man. You don't even challenge them. And they talking crap. When the ministers talk crap, you don't challenge them, Bahamians. That's the problem with you. It is time that you stand up and use your constitutional authority. I only could use 5% so far. I want to increase it to 10%. But the man tells me I have to work in cooperation with some others. I'd like to carry it 100%. You wouldn't want to see what this place would be like if it go 100%. All kinds of changes around here for the betterment of the people. We ain't getting nothing behind it. Nothing. 52 years is what do we have? Nothing. This is Professor Sidney McGrath, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. James, you got to know your Constitution. It saddens me that you've been voting all these decades and you don't even know what a parliamentary representative is supposed to do. You don't even know that. I hear the music in the background. This is Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break. That's unconstitutional what you have done. I think we have a call on the line. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Professor.
Hey, what you say, man?
On everything good, man. Boy, you hit me. I say I had to call, and I end up, the number is calling in, man, that number out, so I had to end up reaching
Yeah,
out through Facebook.
the 3260272.
Yeah, I
And
had to
then
reach out through Facebook to
813.
get that. But anyhow, Professor, you hitting the nail on. Professor, we have a next. You see, we're coming up July the 10th,
What they have coming up?
when Independence.
July the 10th.
Professor, you think they need to celebrate that now, Professor?
The holiday?
Yeah, we don't need it. We need to boycott that, Professor. Professor, the food. Let's make a Professor. I just come away from Dallas,
Okay.
and that's why I don't like to go away and come back here and go in the food store and thing. Professor, the prices. Professor, what I see in them food store and Walmart and everything. Professor, when they go on the Super Bowl, they have to walk out.
Yeah.
Professor, why are they doing this like that, Professor?
That's a good question.
Well, mother freeze.
You've
Professor,
had
why are they doing it? Why they have to do? And the thing with it, that's why we have so much sick people.
yes.
But Professor, I leave things in the hotel. I leave things where I had so much things, Professor. It's just like I wasn't even used. The people say you in a hotel and you can like you in an Airbnb. Because
Yeah.
I mean the fruits and the vegetables, Mama Professor, the big watermelon for $5.
Wow.
No pound on it. No $5.99. Cherries them $5. No pound. When you go in the food store, they get $8 a pound, $9 a pound.
Yeah, that's expensive.
All the nuts, all them nuts things, they buy the big pack of nuts, Professor, and they open them up and put them inside a carton and sell you it for $9 to $10. And they get them for $5, and they share what they get for $5 to make it for $10. So whatever they get for $5, they make it $50 or the $5 a bag.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a good question.
And the Bahamian people don't see that.
This is why I'm trying to get them to understand to please wake up. Because you've had one particular party that has been knocking around for 70 years in the Senate and in the House of Assembly. 70 consecutive years. Whether they gave you parliamentary representation, that's a different kettle of fish. I want to know how much more time you want to give this particular organization. Because when you look at the issue, they have been in government in and out, opposition in government, out on opposition. All I'm saying is, please show me what major constituency problems have they solved over the last 70 years. That's one.
I can't
What
answer.
and what benefits come to those constituents in all of those constituencies where they represented people? What major national problems have been solved over the last 70 years? And here are the clear-cut benefits. See, those are only two questions I got to ask them.
But Professor, not to cut you off, Professor. Why in this time? Well, I guess, like I said, when I was in Dallas, gas was $2.30 something or 40 something cents.
Yes.
Why in the world? We just had they say they just bombed the place where the oil is come out.
Yeah.
And the price dropped down and our own going up.
Our own
How
going
in the
up.
world that could happen?
The problem with this country is this. You can see by the behavior of the government. This is why I keep saying to people, watch the actions of the government. Ain't no price never go down for no gasoline in this place.
Never ain't going down yet. Not yet.
Even when in Florida they got it for 2 something.
Yeah.
We still can't benefit.
Benefit for nothing. They don't want to give us that, Professor.
So the people can do something about it. This is what I try to get Bahamians to understand. You do not have to stay under this kind of confusion.
Amen. Amen, Professor.
So why are we sticking with it? What
I
are
don't
we
know.
going to? 70 consecutive years you gave this particular political grouping opportunity to fix this place. Tens of billions of dollars have been spent over that 70-year span. Maybe hundreds of billions of dollars have been spent. Big debt on our backs right now as a result of the crap that those who were given authority to run this place And all we got is problems. They ain't stopped crying. The women just got shot to death last night.
Yeah, I hear that.
Where's my protection? This Central Police Station is weightless. They don't give me no protection.
Not them. You gotta lie to them. Professor, you know how much time I had to lie to the police to get everything up? You go to them talking the truth. Even the thing that one time I had lost my passport. You know, I go on to them and tell them I lost, but the man tell me, you need to get your phone and go look for your passport. I say, sorry, I lost my passport. The other day, I had to go on back and tell them, man, my passport gets stolen out my car. You know what they do? They give me the paper right away. So you talking the truth, they don't believe you. You understand come from, Professor?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Professor, I telling you, Professor, and the thing with Professor, some of them police officers, they like women so much. They like women so much and thinking, all these big grown man and they're forcing them to get wife. And they stop these women and thinking all and say they get the government money, they rather ask for a piece of leg.
Yeah.
We need to do something with some of the police. That's why I tell them we need to start having some decoy and frame a lot of these police officers. Them big old rusty man. I see it happen. Big old rusty man. He rather lose his whole family. And you can say he write the man ticket up to give the tickets him out. He asking for a piece of leg, asking the young girl all type of stupidness. Come on, man. That's why the country, and that's why we're in the position we're in now, because we have the people who in charge of us is doing a bunch of shit. I mean, excuse me, like doing a bunch of stupidness. And these people, like you say, Professor, the BME people don't see nothing going on. Professor, the light bill just gone up. Professor, my bill was $50-something. I don't burn at my house. My fuel charges was $160. So that means now, even if I don't carry nothing on my house, my light bill could be $10. You still got to pay the $160 fuel charges, so that's $170. BME people don't understand that. You understand, Professor?
Yeah, I listen.
The small things but hurting us, and then you'll see what happened, Professor. You know why a lot of people ain't complaining? They getting a little couple of extra dollars on the side. They could pay for their gas and everything, but that's what's gonna happen. When everything can come out, when they have to come out of the system, they retire and get out of the system. Then you see them complaining. Let's fix it now before you come out of the system. I see, but Professor, the next thing too, a lot of them be big time. People who in these political parties and everything, they get solar panels on their house. They get solar panel on their house. They get solar air conditioning. They get this. They get the Starlink. They get the Starlink internet. They with the government and they ain't on the government system. Professor,
Yes.
you see anything of that?
Yeah, I follow
So
you.
they ain't gonna cry. Why they gonna cry and they ain't on the system? They know the system crap. The system ain't no good. So they come off, but they making people think that, they on the system. You don't see the one prime minister go away when he's sick. You see, at least he could have gone to Prince of Mark Hospital and said, lay up and let the people know that the hospital is still good.
That's a good point
what
you
think
brought up.
If he ain't going in there, what you think about us?
The hospital is not good enough for them,
All right then.
but good enough for you.
Well, Professor, we got to wake up and smell the coffee, Professor.
Man, we have to wake up quickly. We have to wake up quickly.
And I see the BME people, them lost. I look at some of them again, and they lost again. They lost again. Right now, one supposed to be putting no T-shirt on and nothing. Everyone supposed to be just waiting on the right time to go and mark this X. Be tired talking, Professor. Professor, I can be 47 this month,
Yeah.
Professor. And I see nothing change. And especially my area in the Freetown area, Professor. And I see nothing change. What change inside though? The roads them need to pave. Just need to do that. The people, they get a lot of these young guys come out right now. All they're doing is doing a bunch of teething and things around the place. We get a new town, hundreds of people just come out to school, Professor. Every year we get hundreds. Where you gonna put them people?
Yeah, you have a valid point. Yeah, a lady who is much older than you are, she told me she hasn't seen any change in her particular constituency, voting for the same party, election after election after election. Well, I said, what do you want then? What is it do you expect from a representative? See, if you don't expect nothing, you get nothing.
Yeah.
But they fatten themselves. You see any of them poor? You see any of them struggling? They only struggle with the weight they put on their bodies. And they ain't paying for the food they eat anyhow. Huh? They get it for free. Everybody giving them freebies.
The kids are going to the best school, Professor. And he said, the thing with Professor, the people who walking up and down campaigning. They struggling to catch bus to go to campaign for these
Yes,
people.
that's correct.
Professor, they're cheering them on the lunch line, looking for free food.
Yes.
How in the world these people, Professor, man, Professor, only why I ain't get tired because of you know. I tell you, and I have to continue.
I appreciate
I
that.
47. I could be going in the system soon too, Professor. I cannot go in the system like this. When
Well,
I reach pension age, Professor,
we're going to change that.
I have to. And I fight with Professor. Listen, because Professor, every day I try and I talk with you and I talk with everyone. I only waiting for this money coming right now. The queue, try to bring the bike down. I have to bring the armor truck there and
Yes,
drop the
sir.
bike off you so the show could continue to be going on.
It has to.
The Bahamian people have to wake up and smell this coffee. We don't have no time to be worrying about no politics, no politics no more, man. These kids, you see what happening? You see, Professor, what's hurting me? The parents, them getting a couple of dollars where they could eat, they could go and buy numbers and do all these things, and the children, them suffering.
That's
The children,
correct.
a lot of these children are just suffering, Professor. And you
Yeah, they
can't
are.
even want to go thief and rob and thing and all that. That's the only thing they have to do. They don't have no education. They don't go to school. They won't push them to go get a trade or try to do something, man, to try grab these children, Professor, because they can try to take me in your pension money.
We have very irresponsible parents.
Correct?
I wish they were more like my mother and father.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
you're
when my
right.
mother and father were alive, even as young as I am, I always appreciated my mother and father. There was every living day. There was mommy, there was dad. I didn't get tired of saying them.
No,
And they ain't put me out. I'll say you getting
I
up
know.
now, you gotta go. Not them.
And
And they
when they
had
talk
12 in the house, 3 grandchildren plus 9 of their own.
about them, some good old days, boy, Professor. And when
But
they talk,
listen, my mother and father took so much heat for us. Plenty things. When you were telling me about some things in the community, I tell
yeah,
you, I don't know nothing about that. They kept us sheltered and protected. Many things that have been going on in those communities from some of the people I'm hearing it for the first time because I knew nothing about them.
yeah,
That's why I told you when you call into the show, I said, explain it some more so I could have a clearer understanding. But the
Professor.
point is, we need strong parents to protect the children.
Yeah,
And,
you're right.
and, and, and the major problem is that we don't have strong parents anymore. My
No, no,
mother and
no.
father were professional people, they worked hard. In
No,
fact, the white minority government couldn't do without them. Let me put that out there. They could not do without my mother. They couldn't do without my father. Now, there were some others who were living in the community where we are who were treated like garbage.
yeah,
But they needed mommy and they needed daddy for their own selfish benefit. That's what we came out from. I lived through that. I know that. Now, today, we're supposed to have majority rule, government, and things are just falling apart. And it's getting worse by the day. We have to change it. See, we have the power to stop it. And
yeah,
what frustrates me is the fact that the people of this country have it in their hand. We like Gaza Strip. See all that killing they did just overnight in the
yeah. It's
Gaza
just,
Strip. The Israelis did that. They're slaughtering people. I see why some people tell me, say, Professor, the Israelis are a problem. But they're slaughtering people in the Gaza Strip.
Professor, the thing with it, the parents them these days now, Professor, they have children, they have parents them 40, again, great grand thing and all that. These one time ago used to be these children them moving out their mother house. When I used to be glad to be under my mother. These children them go move out their mother house. They 12 years old and again thinking about going rent an apartment and where they get money from.
If my mother and father were to come alive today, wherever they can live, I can live with them.
Man, I telling you. And you
That's
get
what
food,
I will do now. I can't speak for them others, but
Professor, and you
I
get
will do that.
food cook on time and everything and all that. And the thing with now, Professor, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Right now, these kids, I'm telling the parents, I'm saying, why is it big lot of corned beef and rice and all them rest of steam, tom and steam, tone and thing and all that.
Right.
These children, them telling the parents they want Popeye and McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
See, the parents them get insurance like that, and then the thing when they put in tablets. Professor, we used to sit down, TV being around like that, and we used to put. Remember when you have color TV, we used to put like them little red thing. Our TV used to be red, and then the one week it'd be playing on the other because it's black and white.
Right, yeah.
These kids, they always on their tablet.
Always.
And I have a daughter like that, and mommy have her like that. And I try to, she eating her food. The thing you pause, Professor, you could pause the show. She can't that can't pause.
Yeah.
Like these showing them just stuck inside this. I mean, boy, Professor, we have some serious, right? And they mind open because TikTok. The parents open. Professor, like I tell my daughter, you are 9 years old. If you could go on social media and sign up, a 9-year-old to sign up, I will put you on all the social media. I'll put you on all this. You can sign up for all the social media. A 9-year-old, so how in the world do you get them little children and watching TikTok? And Professor, I see things but I don't want to see on TikTok. So you imagine your kids them vulnerable and seeing all these stupidness on TikTok and Facebook. How do they get on these things?
Yeah, you're right.
It's the parents them. And then these children them going too fast, Professor. They get over sex too early. I didn't even know about no sex. That I me to see sexing and all that or porn. I had to come across some Playboy book where the boys some tear the paper off and you see them maybe down on the road.
Yes.
These children them get live and the wreck all day home. Mommy go home and leave them full internet full open, everything open up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, man, you do the best.
You give a lot. I appreciate that. Let me just apologize for that word that slipped. I don't think it was intentional, Bahamians. I didn't say anything while he was speaking. I allowed him to speak because I knew he may have slipped. I do apologize to the audience for that. We just didn't catch it in time. That's the only thing. But though that was not, I don't think, knowing this particular personality, it was deliberate and intentional. Okay, so let me offer an apology to the listening audience so you will understand and the viewing audience will know that we make note of these kinds of things. Okay, but you do have people who are frustrated. You do have people who want to see things change. Now, there's a party out there saying change is here. And they're saying give them a chance. Let me just say this very plainly. We gave 2 other parties a chance to run this place. It is clearly evident from experience. Giving a political party a massive landslide of seats is not the way to go. That is not the way to go. So you say, Professor, well, how we can know how we can balance this now? Even a former prime minister said the same thing, but we don't pay no attention to that. He enjoyed it, having had the opportunity to sit in such a high office, and benefited heavily too, along with all those who were with him. The point is, Bahamians, when you look at scripture, when you look at the Constitution, you will get the answer. We just have made very poor choices in the personalities we have been asking, 1, to represent us in the constituency, and number 2, to run the country. It's just as simple as that. Now, you have to determine whether you have a wicked representative or you have a righteous representative. You have to determine whether you have a wicked government or a righteous government. You have to determine whether you have a wicked prime minister or a righteous prime minister. You have to determine whether you have a wicked cabinet or a righteous cabinet. It's either one or the other. And Proverbs 29:2 tells you what the answer is. If you have a righteous government, what happens? If you have a wicked government, what happens? If you have a righteous MP, what happens? If you have a wicked MP, what happens? See, God don't change. He tells you plain as day, and it is never wrong. That's what you need to look at, Bahamians, when you are going about making choices. Base it on sure information that God gives you so you can have a much better way of life. And then they got to be suffering all this crap, man. But you go and make bad decisions. You listen to any and everybody talking foolishness and nonsense instead of listening to what God tells you. We could have been rejoicing from July the 10th, 1972, straight on up to now. We haven't. Because we're not listening to God. We think we know better than God. God say, okay, no problem. You make bad choices, you suffer the consequences of your bad choices. I believe we have a call on the line. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, what you say?
And good afternoon, Bahamas. Professor, I was saying, when I listened to you, I thought if you get in, man, Professor, you will remove that removal property tax act. You'll remove that, Professor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because, Professor,
You have to
I
change
can say,
it. You have to change it.
I am.
It has to be changed.
Yeah, but Professor, who can move it? And then see when they change
I
these
can
things
tell you who
hard
can
to
move
move.
it. No, I can tell you. This crew is not going to move it.
No, I don't think so.
The other crew in opposition is not going to move it.
No, because they all them being and they see that there and they ain't no one, everybody play like they ain't see it.
But that's fine. They could keep playing like they ain't see it.
Everybody playing like kick it, like
It's
I
going
said.
to take 51% or more of our people who are involved in the voting process, not sitting home and talking about you ain't voting. 51% or more must become righteous in our dealings one with another. This is at the constituency level now. 51% or more. That's the threshold right there. We'll be able to move from there. Now, the other 49, we could work with them, bring them along. But you need 51% or more of the constituents becoming righteous in their dealings one with another. Then the constituency is headed for progress. We have to find a righteous person to send to the House of Assembly. Do you understand how serious that is?
I am. But
So the thing is, if a party presents you crap, a wicked person, a lousy person, an evil-minded person, a homosexual, a lesbian, you don't put them kind of people in power.
all kind of foolishness when they get in power. Before they look to do wrong things.
So
Like
you have
me-
to know about that particular person. If that person is a single person, you need to know his character. If that woman is a married woman, you need to know her character. If that man is a married man, you need to know about him. And I mean very deep.
Yeah, one time ago we don't mind because we watch the Constitution. But when you get
But
here and
now-
start switching the Constitution, you gotta
they-
be because you're trying to bring voice for me. Because
That
you
is
know
correct.
that they know the man that say
So
you mean the newest president had to come and say there's only male and female in the world.
well, that's what the
You the
man
grown
tells
person
him.
don't go to church?
You hear them funny people over there talking foolishness now. They want to bring that crap elsewhere. They want to bring it to the Bahamas, and the Bahamas government has not made a definitive statement, male and female. They know nothing about them funny things what you all want. You carry that elsewhere. The government of the Bahamas has done nothing about it. They want to play
why-
Bo Peep.
You gotta be careful with the Constitution. People who trying to change it.
Yeah, they want to change it.
Change it to do all kind of foolishness.
All kind
man,
of
to
foolishness,
To make stupidness sense, craziness sense.
Yes.
Like in what it is, Isaiah chapter 5 and 20. You trying to turn me to stupidness, and you trying to make that law. I say, my God, Pastor. But one thing I gotta end with this. What I learned today, man, it was amazing. I learned this today. I sit down and I looking at these people trying to get in power. I mean, who pay you all to go in power to change the laws, man?
Yeah.
To change the good things what we have.
Good thing.
We are the big dog with a big bone in our mouth. And listen to fools that tell us, oh, change this. When you change these things and drop your bone. Listen, all these flags, I sit right down and I know I's a Bahamian. I born and grow here. I grew up a little boy. I grew in this Bahamas. And just who in charge of the flags and everything. I just learned this. The National Intelligence Branch in charge of all flags. So how you could have other flags flying all over the Bahamas and a policeman in charge of the flag? they didn't know that. They didn't know that's the Constitution. My God, from Zion. That's all. Have a blessed day, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. Don't depend on them officers. They don't know nothing about no constitution. You just got a bunch of dodos. They do not understand the seriousness of the responsibility they ought to be carrying. This is why it's important, Bahamians. We must know who we're dealing with. But you see, the Constitution is there, the Holy Bible is there. That's all I need. I need nothing else. I don't need no crap from no political party. Not enough of that. 58 years and a half on July the 10th, 58 years and a half since majority rule. Don't you think we had enough foolishness and nonsense? You know how many people have lived and died and didn't benefit since that time? We have to fix it. I hear the music in the background. This is Professor Sidney of Walter Thompson. Now, when I get back, I'm going to be very specific, very, very specific about governance in this country. Bayman, you have to get it, because we don't have much time. Half of the year is already gone. We got to use the next half of 2025 very wisely in preparation for what has to be done. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Whether you're shopping for Mother's
FM. Bahamians, sometimes political parties make decisions, and I think it's the council of those parties, the two that are now in the House of Assembly. Well, you got three there now. I'm not too sure about the third one, but it is in their constitution to allow the stalwarts or the committee that makes the final decision in the party out of convention. They will make the decision as to who will get a nomination. All right. In the FNM is they have council over there, and the PLP has a council, and the council will make the determination. That's fine. That's how it ought to be now. Of course, sometimes the leaders will maneuver, and they will make a recommendation to the council that they would like to have a particular person. And normally, the council would give in to the particular leader at a given time. But a lot of people don't want to go by that. There are some who feel, see, this is the problem when you keep people too long in a position of responsibility. They get greedy, they get selfish, and the party may determine that they want to give it to someone else, and the party has a right to do that. But there are some who don't want to go along with that. And so you have a problem in the Free National Movement right now. Well, Menace says he's a member of the party, but the party has declared through the leader that he will not be running on the ticket for the Free National Movement. But he still wants to run. He believes he could do something for Kalani. He's a former prime minister. That is so one term. And when the party was giving him the nomination, it was not a problem. But all of a sudden, he doesn't get the nomination. It's a big problem. Bahamians, you can be a member of a political party, or you may be a follower of a political party. You do not have to vote for the candidate of that political party. See, choosing a parliamentary representative is separate and apart from the party. See, the party itself got to put somebody in there. So by the mere fact that they have to put someone there to run on their ticket is proof that they don't control the process as a party. The parliamentary process is different. Now, when it comes to choosing members for that party at the council level or at the branch level, or to do any other work in the particular party, that's a different kettle of fish altogether. When it comes to choosing a representative for a particular given constituency, it is the duty of the representative. See if you're going to be like how Jesus was. I don't know of no political personality is doing this. Jesus said, he that is great among you must be slave of all. You understand what that means? You have to take the brunt, the pressure that those people are carrying. You have to take it on your back and work with it and solve it. The person who sits in the office of prime minister, that particular person is to take on the problems of the nation on his back and solve it. He must be slave of all. Do you see that happening in this country? That's the kind of leadership Christ exhibited when he took on our sins, our abominations, our sicknesses, our weaknesses. He was strong, but he became sick for us. That's what made him sick. But do you see political leaders taking on the responsibility of sacrificing themselves for the people? Do you see it? You see them riding around in nice fancy cars, and they get all free things all over. They never pay for nothing. Everybody giving them free things. So where's the sacrificing? You give them the position. Like I tell you, this party had 70 years. And yet you do not see what major problems they've solved over that 70-year span. What major constituency problems have they solved over that 70-year span? That's a long record, Bahamians. And you can't tell me what they've done at the constituency level. All those constituencies they had the opportunity to represent. And you don't know? Come on, Bahamians, you don't be blind. Don't be stupid. Don't be foolish. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thompson.
Hey, what's happening?
Everything cool.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Thompson, the COI is supposed to be our favorite party because the FNM and the PLP, they delve into the Haitian community to get votes, i.e. the Prime Minister, and then on the other end, the spectrum, you have the FNM, the young folks and them, whenever they were in. But the favorite party is supposed to be the COI, right?
The third
But I
party?
mean,
yeah.
huh?
The third party is the COI. They have three
Yeah,
parties
they're
in the
supposed to be
House.
the savior party, basically, right? But Mr. Thompson is ironic, you know. I mean, I see something online where the COI pandering the Haitian people too, man.
So they're doing what?
They pandering the Haitian people too, looking for their votes.
Oh, they're looking for the Haitians to vote for them.
Like, we got a problem in this country, you know.
Yes,
because
we
I
do.
mean, if it's that, right? They
Yes.
only tell me that the COI ain't nothing but still there, and you know. Something ain't right, man.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, you have to look. See, this is why you have to have righteous people to run your place.
Hmm.
See, all of the people in that particular party may not be righteous. So you can put
Yeah.
all of them in the House. See, the danger has been from the inception of these parties. You gave those political parties too much control. And some 58 years later and a
That's a
half,
problem.
we got big problems.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Thompson, did anyone ever did anyone ever speak about that? It was 2 months ago or 3 months ago now. It was some $100,000 that was dropped off in Haiti with two stewardesses, I believe, in
Yes.
Bahamas there.
Yes, yes, yes.
And they ran away from the Haitian authorities, and there was at least it all ended there. But I mean, like, they ran from the Haitian authorities, came
Right.
to Nassau, and we don't know who them people is. Our national airline is being used for money laundering.
Yes,
You know, our national airline is being used for human trafficking.
yes.
You know, I mean, this is, I mean, I told you, outrageous for a country, because I mean, like, which country would do that?
That's a good question.
It's not like our country is more like gangster. Because I mean, only in the gangster world you would find a government would go against, the Constitution and do things contrary.
Well,
Just
this,
somebody on some chemicals where they can't think for themselves.
this government is acting contrary to the Constitution. We have proven that over and repeatedly. The government of the Bahamas is violating the Constitution.
And there ain't no remedy for that. Election soon.
No, you don't have to wait for an election, you know. The
I know, but
Constitution doesn't say that.
No, but you have a case pending, right?
There is a case pending, yes.
Yeah, and who's controlling the government? The PLP, right? Fred McClellan.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, go on, caller.
Yeah. I mean, and you think they're going to allow that case to go through? Fred Mitchell, I hear him on the radio, right? I ain't that. Fred Mitchell ain't nothing but a political junkie in life. Honestly.
But here's what we supposed to be. This is why I keep saying to people, watch what is happening. See the judiciary? The judiciary in this country is supposed to be what? Independent of the government.
It's dependent
right?
on the government.
No, independent of the government.
Yeah, but it's dependent on the government. That's how it operates. Because if it was independent, the case you put in, you see some. I mean, there's some form of decency where it probably would have even started or something, right?
Yes.
And then you were in the middle of the case, and then well, probably an election pop up, right? But you know what? Because we got the control, right? You wouldn't even see it, and that goes so much against law and order, man.
But let's say, okay, caller, I understand what you're saying. I try to get people to understand. You know that, I know that. This is the end of June,
Yeah,
That matter was either April, May, June.
intentionally signing.
Okay? And I haven't heard any word yet. This is the end of June. I haven't heard any word yet.
You ain't getting nowhere either, Mr. Thompson. So
No,
sad to hear you.
but caller, listen, man. See, what I'm trying to do is dispel this notion, this negative notation that permeates in the psyche of the Bahamian people. See, anytime when you keep doing that, you just bring the nation further down in disrepute. That's all you do. See, you're never going to tell me it can't happen. The Constitution says wrong. We have the proof. We could demonstrate that. And sometimes God have to remove those people out of the way who are blocking progress.
Hey, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah.
You're going by the Constitution, right?
Yes.
And as long as they're going by themselves, man.
Yeah, but that's
Ain't no
fine. No,
Constitution.
but see, I trust in God. I don't trust them.
Yeah, but they control. They don't care about no
No,
God.
but don't
They
worry
they
about
want
that.
nobody to get
No,
their
but
pocket.
caller, please.
Yes, sir.
Let's see.
Honestly, that's the truth, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, okay.
You know that.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I guess but that's the truth, man.
No, but the point is, what are you prepared to do about it?
Now, you put me in the equation, Mr. Thompson?
Huh?
You put me in the equation?
If I put,
No, I said, you said, what are we prepared to do
what
about
are
it?
you prepared to do about
And
it?
I
Since
said-
you
I-
see that.
My answer to you is, and you put me up inside and like, me? What I could do about it? Mr. Thompson? I never been in the mix. I never benefited nothing
Okay.
from politicians and politics.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
And
All right.
You ain't gonna go phone eye. Thompson, you gotta stop,
Caller, okay. Thank you for your
Have a nice day,
contribution.
Mr. Thompson.
Thank you for your contribution. You see, you try to have a sensible conversation with callers. Now, he has a right to his view, and I ask a basic question. When I say, what are you going to do? I'm talking about you collectively, not you individually. See, this is the problem we have in this country where we're so individualistic. The head of the CSB, I think, the apex body in the Bahamas, he talked about Bahamians working in silos, man. Dr. Anthony Hamilton. Civil Society Bahamas, CSB. He is problematic for me. You know why? It's what he didn't get, is what he may be looking for as an individual. And don't put him in that. Bahamians, where are we going with this? He calls the shows. I'm trying to get people to make a positive contribution. Look at the issues that affect the country, Bahamians. Not what affects you individually. Those individual problems could easily be solved. But we have to look at what's affecting the nation, man. If we get that one solved, see this case that's before the courts, this constitutional case, once that is solved, the whole nation benefits. Don't get confused because some people exercise power. They could be dead tomorrow or this afternoon. God could easily knock them out of the way. Don't you think God sees and knows what's going on? And we're going to keep talking the crap about what they're doing? We can do some things, and God expects us to do the things that we ought to be doing. And He will help us. But if we keep sitting complaining about what they're doing, we don't get to do what we're supposed to do. Now, I watched that for almost a year. I ain't going through that crap no more. There is something else that I'm working on. And I expected that to a certain degree. So that doesn't surprise me. We need people who are going to be constitutionally sound. That's why you have a constitution. You want to save this country? You use the Holy Bible and the Constitution. That's what you use. Anything less than that, you're wasting your time. Have you seen what's happening in Iran? The people who are in the United States, the Iranians, they don't want to go back home to Iran to help the people in Iran. They want to stay in the United States. They expect some other people to do it for them. And they come in. They want a better country. Yes, that was asked of them by the BBC. The BBC had an extended interview with the people of Iran, those who are in the United States. But the point is, they want someone else to do it for them. But you got plenty of Iranians in the United States and perhaps in some other countries. We have plenty of Haitians in the United States and some here in the Bahamas. CARICOM said that must be led by the Haitians, Haitian-led solution. Fine. They need to get back in Haiti and deal with it in Haiti. They know the circumstances on the ground better than anyone else. So the solution is to be led by Haitians themselves. In the Bahamas, the solution must be led by Bahamians, genuine Bahamians, not fraudulent Bahamians. Because you see them popping up all over the place. Persons purporting to be Bahamian. They're not Bahamians. But those of us who are don't seem to understand our responsibility as Bahamians. The problem has been we have sat back for too long. We are so numb as a people. If an emergency were to break out right now, most of you will simply perish. Because you're not quick to respond in an emergency. I see it with members of my own family. They're not quick to respond in a crisis. Now, we have a crisis right now. But God is giving us an opportunity to deal with it. Are we prepared to wait to deal with it? Or are we going to just keep grumbling and complaining every single day? I told you about organizing yourselves. Article 24, 1 of your Constitution. Article 2 of the Constitution talks about any other law that is inconsistent with this Constitution. This Constitution shall prevail. How many of you understand how important that is? So we want to give such credence to political personalities. They're not the law. They're mere mortal human beings. But the point is, we put them on these pedestals and we worship and bow down to them instead of worshiping God. They didn't wake you up this morning, you know. Not one of them came and woke me up from sleep this morning. Not a living one. They don't give me every breath of air that I breathe. Thank God for that. But the point is, we worship and we bow down and we shank for a couple of dollars from a political personality. That's what Bahamians have been doing. And still doing it today. You expect any change to occur like that? And just because you get a few dollars doesn't mean that everything is solved. No, sir. But that's how we behave. Now, if we're going to do anything, then let's do it God's way. Let's do it the way the Constitution says it ought to be done. Then you will have a better country. You cannot keep putting in wicked people to run your national affairs. Scripture says, when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Are you mourning in your particular constituencies? Do you see people mourning all over this country? If they are mourning, that means you have wicked people running things. God says that as plain as day. There ain't no interpretation for that. So if the Bahamian people are mourning today, that means we've made some very bad decisions. So that means Scripture says when the righteous are in authority. Well, then we got to put them in authority. They're the ones who ought to be given a chance. Not because a political party comes along and say, give me a chance. No, sir. You don't do it that way, Bahamians. Righteous people ought to be given a chance. Those who will be prepared to sacrifice, those who would be prepared to take the burdens of that particular constituency and solve them. And not with no couple of dollars either. You need much more than that. You can need several millions of dollars to deal with those constituency issues. And you can't have the cabinet hogging up the money and then spending much, much money on a particular constituency while the others suffer. That's not righteousness. Every person sitting in those seats in the House of Assembly, they're on an equal footing. Whether that one was there 20 years and the next one was there 2 days, doesn't matter. They're all members of the House of Assembly or members of Parliament, because you have the House of Assembly, you have the Senate. Some appointed, some elected. There are some things that need to change because, see, this administration doesn't want any referendums. Some things in the Constitution can only be changed by a referendum. Well, most things, not just some, most things in the Constitution. This current administration doesn't want to hold any referendum. They feel if they get their backsides licked and whipped soundly, they won't win the election. So they're holding back from a referendum, but they could still lose the election. You just don't have to vote for them. See, you have freedom in your hand. Ain't nobody tying your hand. You have the opportunity more so in the Bahamas than they have in Iran, more so than the people in Israel. They got to go live under bunkers underground. We are breathing God's fresh air. We need to take advantage of that. We still have relatively a peaceful, stable democracy. Nothing to do with the FNM, nothing to do with the PLP. Let me make that very clear. And nothing to do with none of them. That has to do with God. God has a purpose for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We just don't have the right people in place to bring it about. We may very well have one last chance to do it. Just one. Let's not squander it, Bahamians. The next 6 months, the second half of this year, you have to move very, very quickly. Those who have the opportunity or who want to be a representative in the House of Assembly, you got to get your message out. You got to work. Faith without works is dead. Don't wait for a couple of weeks before an election. You have to start moving now. Get it on global radio. Call the radio station, leave your name and number, and I'll deal with you. You have to get your message to the Bahamian electorate. The electorate wants change. They want things to be better than what they are now. But you have to give them an alternative, Bahamians. You have to let them see where you stand. And don't lie to them. Don't mislead them. Don't deceive them. Because there are those who will do that. They just want a seat. They just want to benefit from the people's purse. They're not interested in you. We've seen enough of that over the last 58 years and 6 months. So what are you going to do about it? July 10th would make 58 years and 6 months since majority rule. And you've seen all kind of crappy things, all kind of promises being made. You as constituents ought to be determining what you want to see in your own constituency. You haven't done that yet. from the time you were voting. From 67 up to now, constituents have never gotten together and say, listen, this is what we would like to see happen in our constituency, and formulate a plan and put it in action to make it happen. We haven't done that. See, there's work for constituents to do, but you let political parties come in, mesmerize you with foolishness and nonsense, then you vote for that particular personality who they tell you to vote for, and you end up being frustrated. Famous, that doesn't make any sense. That is utter nonsense and foolishness. You're looking for gold, you got to dig for that gold. It's there, we have to go get it. I hear the music in the background. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
The Perfume Bar has been
And God is giving us an opportunity to get it right. And we may very well have one last chance to get it right. So, Bahamians, you who are in those communities, those of you who want to be representatives, the Constitution allows for you to put your names forward. You got to start moving now on your campaign strategies and present what you have to give to the Bahamian people. It takes time to do that, Bahamians. That's not something you could do in 1 or 2 days. People will think you're joking. You're going to have to comb those particular constituencies. You're going to have to dig deep into the ground for the goal. People want change. People want to see change. But you have to be the one to bring about the change. And a lot of our people have to be led into doing what is right and what is good and what is beneficial for the Bahamian people. We have to move on it, Bahamians, and we have to do it as of now. Mr. Producer, you have that tape ready now? Oh, okay, put it on for us, please.
Person. I felt as I would be the better person for the job, but like I said, the party made a decision, and I just gotta accept and maybe just move on. But persons in South Beach, I guess a lot of them wasn't aware of what transpired on Thursday when the party made a decision. So, but a lot of persons, when they saw it on paper, on social media, a lot of persons called me and asked me, sure, I say, yeah, it's true. The party did make a decision last week, Thursday. Mr. Henfield, Senator Henfield was ratified, and he's going to be moving forward in your area. And so they were shocked by it, felt as though it should have been me.
Oh, okay, good. Jamal Moss, he was supposed to, he was a hopeful for a candidacy under the FNM. And I think he's decided to abide by the decision of the party. Only one person could be the representative or the candidate for that particular political party. And that's fine. He respects that. There's still some who feel it should have been him. Now, let me say this to you now. All of those who are running in South Beach, you have to search them very thoroughly to see whether there's a righteous person among them. You can't vote, and you ought not to vote for wicked people. Proverbs 29:2. God says plainly, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But Bahamians, you got to give the righteous a chance. They're the only people who are supposed to get a chance. Nobody else. We need solutions to problems. Jeff Lloyd represented the FNM in South Beach. I don't know what achievements were done at that particular time, but he solved all the problems in South Beach. He was the Minister of Education. He had a big position in the Minister government. Minister of Education, plus the MP for South Beach. The point is having a particular personality sit there and say that particular person is the representative but not doing parliamentary work. That's a whole loss of a different color. You get nothing done. You need someone who will take on the burdens of South Beach and get them solved. That's what a leader does. That's the kind of leadership God offers you when he sent Jesus Christ as his son. He set the example. Do you know of any political leaders who want to do that? Take on the burdens, the problems, the stresses of the people in that particular constituency and solve them. That's what a representative ought to be doing. He is to speak on your behalf. And I'm talking about problems that afflict the people in that particular constituency or any other constituency for that matter. And Bahamians, if you don't have that, what's the point? What's the point of voting? Now, let me suggest to those who are eligible to vote, those who are Bahamian citizens, only those can vote. So every single one of you as a Bahamian citizen, you have the opportunity to be on the register to participate in the parliamentary process. You should take advantage of that. That's very important that you do that. Now, there are some who may not vote, some for religious reasons whatsoever. They may decide they don't want to vote. But you just need 51% or more to become righteous in the particular constituency. You're good to go. So you will find that not everyone will agree with you. Now let's look at what happened in the last election when the PLB party got 32 out of 39 seats. The FNM got 7. Prior to that, the FNM had 35, the PLP had 4. See the wide disparity right there? You give one party a massive landslide, you give the next party a similar massive landslide. What do you want? But that's what happened. You give righteous people a chance. You've got to check the character of these people, Bahamians. If it doesn't line up with scripture, you reject them. If it doesn't line up with the Constitution, you reject them. You need a fit and proper person. And I think it's Article 52.1, if I'm not mistaken, where it talks about Parliament may pass laws. And it gives you 3 specific reasons: for the peace, order, good government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's what your representative is supposed to be doing. And making sure there's peace, order, and good government in that particular community where you live. Now, where the woman was murdered last night, the family is upset, I'm sure. The community is disturbed. We don't know who the individuals are who committed the murder. They had dark clothing. Who is going to protect the constituents in these particular constituencies? What is the role of the representative? To protect his constituents. To protect our constituents. What's the point of having them? You get no protection from your representative. None. And the Constitution says he is there to pass laws for the peace, order, good government. The Commonwealth of Bahamas. There are some peculiar problems that afflict your particular constituency that don't afflict no others. And that is not even being given consideration by the representatives or the elected personalities who ought to be representing you. It's not being considered. So what are you going to do about it, Bahamian? You can just sit right there and let them keep walking on you? Is that what you want? You didn't rise up, organize yourselves? Here's what I suggest you do. Article 24.1. You need to be well organized for the purpose of protecting what? Your interest. Do you have an interest to protect? Do you have interests, plural, more than one to protect? Yes, you do. And some of you know you're suffering. All kinds of things. But it's the duty of the representative to solve these problems. That's the whole purpose of having the representatives. But when that isn't happening, you don't have a parliamentary representative. You just don't. He may be sitting there or she may be sitting there in name, but that's about it. But getting good pay too, getting good benefits. And you get nothing. You get nothing for going in the box and voting for that particular personality. You have to stand with your representative constituents. If the man or the woman is fighting for you and on your behalf, get out there and stand with your representative. In the past, when some representatives stood up to fight for their particular constituency, people just sit right back. You have to stand with the representative. Once it is something that is in your best interest, and that's what should have been done, but it wasn't done. People just sit back and they do nothing. Your presence there is important. You can't be staying home talking about, you can watch it on TV or hear about it on radio. No. You get there in person. Stand with your representative. Do not give any one party any massive landslide of seats as it happened under Minnis, as it happened under Davis. Stop that foolishness. Do not give any political party any ever again. It has not benefited us in 52 years as an independent nation. That's a recipe for disaster. They had every available opportunity to solve every single constituency problem, every single national problem. They ain't solved it yet. That's 52 years and gone down the drain. We got more problems today on June 30th, 2025 than we ever had before. And there are no solutions in sight, Bahamians. So you judge people by what they have done. That's why I asked those two questions. Constituency problems, national problems. Where are the benefits? What problems have been solved? These are the benefits that we're getting. Same thing at the national level. Where do you see it? Now, there's some, like I say, who want to be. You don't just say, let me give you a chance. No. That's a stupid thing to do. You don't give no party any chance. You give righteous people a chance. Because scripture says, when the righteous are in authority, the people, you who live in those constituencies, you will rejoice. That's your solution, Bahamians. You can't say that particular party. No, they got some wicked people in that body. And they put some wicked people to run in sheep's clothing. And you get caught off guard. Strong, righteous parliamentarians make a strong, righteous government. Do you understand that, Bahamians? Weak, ineffective personalities sitting in parliamentary seats, because there ain't no parliamentarians. They make weak, ineffective government. That's why we're in the condition we're in today. And you hear them always talking about the particular personality who is head of the government. And when you check the Constitution, it didn't say the Prime Minister have all this power, you know, what you all assume he's supposed to have. No. The Constitution said the Cabinet has what? Overall direction, overall control of the government. And some of you don't even understand what that means. How do you get the Prime Minister or the person in the office of Prime Minister? That is done by those in the House. The leader of the party, two positions there. The leader of the party that commands the majority of the members of that House. Well, they say Davis, leader of the PLB, well, he's now the Prime Minister. Fine, no problem. But what the people in the House forgot is they were the ones who gave him the power. You could take it back. Start doing foolishness. You yank it back from him. Then no, sir. That ain't happening in here. But the same weak-minded people you have in that house are the weak-minded people who is causing us to have a weak-minded government. That's the problem we have in this country. The people in the house are the ones that keep tabs on that particular person who is in the office of prime minister. They're not doing their job, Bahamians. And in the absence of a particular personality who does not have, the party might be there, but the party leader doesn't have the majority of the people in that house. The individual that commands, the individual member that commands the majority of the members of that house would be recommended to be prime minister. That's the only way it can happen. The Constitution says it that way. But you got someone around here walking around as a big shot, and people putting their hopes and dreams into a particular personality. Bahamians, that is wrong. It doesn't work that way. The office of prime minister is different from the office of a president, like how they have in the United States. All the people go out and vote for the president. Only those in the house vote for the particular personality to be in the office of prime minister. Two different systems. And unfortunately, in our country, we have sent a bunch of doodles to the house, and they do not keep tabs on that particular person who is in the office of prime minister. They forget. They're looking for one contract. They're looking for one position. Oh, make me chairman of one board. I want to be one state minister. That's what they're looking for. So you get left, Bahamians. You get left out in the cold, and nothing has happened for you in 52 years as an independent nation. So you need to wake up and realize, if we put righteous people in office, we're straight. If we put wicked people in office, we will suffer. See, God's fixed it straight, man. He ain't beating around the bush and talking no crap. Only political personalities talk a pile of crap. Now, some of them might have good intentions. Good intentions not good enough. The question is, are you a righteous person? Yes or no? Are you prepared to take the burdens of that constituency on your back and get them solved? And put pressure on the government and make sure it's done. And get the people of the constituency behind you to make it happen. Well, baby, that's what you got to do. You got to be a fighter. I've learned in this life, anytime you want something, fight for it. You don't fight for it, nothing happens. You sit on your backside and do nothing, nothing happens. 52 years of crap. That's why we got all these problems. We got a major immigration problem in this place. Why should we have that 52 years down the road when that should have been solved 52 years ago? But the government didn't solve it. The Parliament of the Bahamas didn't do anything to get rid of the problem. All of them are responsible for this crap. But yet they're coming right back to say, hey, I want rule. And then you'd be foolish enough to give them more power to keep you back for another 52 years. Bahamians, that don't make sense. The answer is you need to know the character of the persons you're sending to the House of Assembly. And you as constituents ought to be deciding what you want to see happen in your constituency, not no particular personality from a particular political party. It's amazing how you people ain't organized. You're talking about you waiting on that individual for his vision. What is your vision for the constituency? Bahamians, it is what the constituents desire for that particular constituency. But you're not organized to do that. How could you miss that in 52 years? Is it what the MP say? Or what the potential MP say? Come on, Bahamians. Now you got to support your representative because he got to raise hell in that house. And you got to go down there and help him to raise hell. Because these fellas are wicked. But if you have strong parliamentary representation, righteous people running things, then you know you have a righteous government. Outside of that, you ain't got none. And they have to take on the burdens of the people, just like Jesus took the burdens of us on his back and went to the cross. And Bahamians, if they ain't doing that, they're not righteous. They got to follow Jesus, follow his example. But you must stand with your representative. And Bahamians, if they aren't fighting on your behalf, see, this is where you know who's fighting for who. If they take you and carry those burdens to the House of Assembly, because that's where they got to discuss them, get them solved once and for all, so we can have some rejoicing in this place. Bahamians, let's get serious. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We got to get this thing right, Bahamians. Once and for all. You got 6 months left in this year. Let's get it done. Those of you who want to be representative, get your program out now. You righteous people in there, you say you're righteous. Let's come, man. Come on. I'm prepared to work with you. Don't worry about these wicked people around here. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. You come right here to Global Radio, we could do business. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. Have a pleasant afternoon.